Relevant, real, reliable. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Well, non-surgical treatment of scoliosis, that is what we are talking about today. And it is a condition that inflicts, in fact, more women than it does men. And in fact, it is one of the conditions that famous celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor, Sarah Michelle Gellar, as well as Vanessa Williams, I mean, all of them suffer from this condition. But, you know, most of the traditional treatments have been a little bit scary. For example, like inserting rods in your spine.
Ouch.
But we are talking today about more natural forms of treatment, and this is outlined in a book called Health in Your Hands, Your Plan for Natural Scoliosis Prevention and Treatment. And our guest today is the author of that book, and he is also a chiropractor and a nutritionist by training. His name is Dr. Kevin Lau, and we have him on our couch today. And so far we've been chatting about finding out more about scoliosis as a condition and finding out about the traditional forms of treatment. We're currently going into, well, the third part of our conversation, and we're finding out more specifically about the diet and how that the role that plays in helping to treat this particular condition. And you know, Kevin, in your book, you mentioned a method of customizing a diet called the metabolic typing diet. Now, what exactly is this metabolic type that we are referring to?
Well, metabolic typing understands that everyone is different and everyone's metabolic needs is different as well. A good example of this is probably looking back onto primitive cultures and looking at Eskimos. And Eskimos were primarily eating a diet of 90% fat and meat with very little vegetables. Yet within their own language, they didn't even have a definition for heart disease or cancer. Then if we go to India or South India, they tended to eat, there are tribes up there that tended to eat a primarily vegetarian-based diet. So based on genetic evolution and also from where we come from, everyone's nutritional needs is a little different, and there is no optimal diet that is fit for everyone.
Where we come from, do you mean more in terms of like historically our ethnic kind of a background?
Oh, definitely. It all comes, it's all based on genetics.
Okay, and I'd be interested to find out about
what you should be eating?
Yeah, what I should be eating. I mean, how would I be typed in this metabolic type?
Okay, in metabolic typing, there's many different stages, but an initial stage is going through a questionnaire and seeing your own reactions of food. And most people, when they eat something, they do have reactions. 2 to 3 hours later of eating something, we're looking for reactions such as if your energy levels are good or bad, if you start getting sleepy, how's your mental clarity? Is it improving, or is you're getting more blur? So there are definite signals that foods offer whenever you eat them.
I'm pretty awake today.
Yeah,
I know what it was
what
in
you were
my
eating.
food, my last meal. Yeah, I guess we never quite thought about it unless you actually do perhaps keep a record or a journal deliberately marking down what you had for lunch, breakfast, dinner.
Definitely.
I think that'll be a very good, clue.
But I do know that rice and these things make me really sleepy in the afternoons.
Oh, pasta makes me sleepy.
Yeah, in the afternoon.
And those are the metabolic clues that you need to listen into, because every single meal you need to actually have more energy than you had before. You have to have better mental clarity. You have to have improved emotional stability. So there are definite clues.
Are there specific like classifications or types that the metabolic type kind of theory outlines?
Well, there are 3 different types. There is a protein type, there is a carbohydrate-based type, and there's a mixed type. But then within those types, there's a variation between the two. So like Stanley said, that there is a period where each individual needs to really just hone in on their own signals and start listening to their body and start recording their sort of symptoms that they get after certain foods.
Right, and I definitely have to start. I hope this test is available to people like us who don't have scoliosis. So I would definitely like to find out about it. Right, and looking at Singaporeans, I mean, we are definitely a food nation, food paradise, and a food nation sort of a thing. Now, how can Singaporeans start eating healthier based on a more traditional diet generally?
I think if most people just understand that they start focusing more on fresh food.
Yeah.
When you go to a supermarket and you go around to the perimeter, that's where most of the meats, vegetables and dairy aisle is.
All right.
Okay, that's the part where you just enter and you find all the fresh foods and not in the canned and the frozen food section.
Yes.
So go to the first section that hits you in your face and then get out at the cashier.
Yeah, you have to avoid the rest.
Yes, stay away from the biscuits and cookies and
ice cream.
chips. Yes.
That's where I'm usually hovering.
All right, Pam, you know where not to go now.
Right, and while you're in the living room, of course, we are talking about non-surgical treatments and natural ways treatments of scoliosis. And we are chatting with chiropractor as well as nutritionist Dr. Kevin Lau. And he practices at Orchard Clinic. And also he is the author of the book Health in Your Hands, Your Plan for Natural Scoliosis Prevention and Treatment, which is out in the major bookstores. And I will be telling you a little bit more about that, as well as where you can find more information in terms of websites. Well, I mean, Dr. Lau, I mean, tell us so far, I mean, when you see your patients so far, and I would imagine that they would be patients with varying degrees of scoliosis. With this sort of treatment, would you say that even those with above 40 degrees, they do not have to go through any surgical procedures whatsoever?
Okay, I think it really depends on how far the scoliosis has gone. Certainly, at any stage of scoliosis, you can improve your diet, you can add exercises, and you can improve your general quality of life. There is unfortunately a period where there is too much degeneration for something that's more of a natural approach, and that's when you need to go and see a surgeon or something. I've seen curves that are in their 20s, but I've also seen curves that are in their 80s. So it really depends on the health of the spine.
Can this develop much later in life, let's say past the 10 to 15 age group, and develop, say, in adulthood?
Oh, definitely. And most scoliosis do progress as they get older. A lot of older people over the age of 40 are developing scoliosis that is due to degeneration of the spine. So these lumbar scoliosis, which are due to primarily just a sedentary lifestyle, sitting for long hours in the office, working on computers and whatnot.
You know, it suddenly dawned on me that we didn't quite establish whether or not scoliosis is a degenerative condition, just like arthritis is. Is scoliosis one?
Oh, definitely. In my mind, in my eyes, I see scoliosis as just an excessive aging of the spine, as well as a deformity.
Right, which can happen right from young, primary school.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not looking at really you only having scoliosis when you're in your 50s or 60s and upwards.
Yeah, that's right. And what would be the worst case scenario? Let's say if it gets really serious. I mean, it wouldn't be life-threatening, would it?
It can be life-threatening, especially when the curvature starts putting impact in through the organs and start compressing things, or there might be difficulty in terms of breathing and heart function.
Yeah, that's right. And as always, I think you mentioned earlier about exercise. I mean, exercise is something I guess all of us cannot escape from.
Yes, Pam, including you.
I know. I've been saying it for 3 years. Now, why is exercise important for a healthy spine?
Okay. Well, I mean, most people don't realize that your spine thrives on movement. Most days, and most people these days that do suffer from back pain or back issues, it's largely due to the fact that they're sitting down for too long and they're immobile. Your spine consists of bones as well as discs. These discs actually contain a lot of fluid, or a lot of water. Now, most of these waters only go in and out of those discs just through movement. So in a day when you're not moving, water just continually pours out, and that's why they start to dehydrate and lead to other issues like degeneration.
Right, so it's good to keep the body moving quite a bit. It's called what, lubricating, I suppose?
Yeah, definitely.
And in your book as well, I mean, you have outlined a couple of exercises, that patients could do to self-help.
Yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about these exercises. Take us through a couple of them.
Okay. I mean, there's pretty much 4 different parts of the exercise program. There's a stretching component, which helps to fix any sort of tightnesses that people have in ligaments. There's a postural retraining component, which helps people improve how they hold themselves when they're sitting or standing or doing their daily duties. There's also a strengthening component, which helps to work on imbalances that develop over periods of time. And there's a core stability component, which helps to strengthen and support the spine.
And would all these exercises, though, be suitable for people of all ages?
Most of the exercises are suitable for most people of all ages and most scoliosis conditions.
Okay, that's pretty safe then. And if you look at and I'm just flipping through the book, and there are a lot of visual guides as well of how you can do these exercises, including using some of, these, what do you call these balls? Swiss balls?
Yes.
Swiss balls.
Yeah, those big bouncy ones.
Yeah.
Not fish balls, it's Swiss balls.
Swiss balls.
Just in case our listeners are still stuck with the fishball comments earlier by Pamela. And a lot of them actually can be done without much, equipment and what have you as well. You could actually just get a small little exercise ball like that and use it.
Yeah, and it is suitable for all age groups, so that is good news. It's not just for the young or the really fit.
Would there be certain sports that you would encourage, say swimming, good for the back and all?
Oh, definitely. I think when it comes to spinal issues, low impact tends to be the most important sort of exercises to focus on. So high impact sort of exercises tend to be those that where you raise both feet off the ground, so running or jogging or tennis or those sort of exercises. Swimming tends to be very low impact, cross training, walking. Those are excellent for the spine.
Okay, well, looks like I've got to cut down on my tennis then, and you better take a little bit more exercise.
I know. That's right. And well, these are definitely self-help tips that we are talking about. Very practical, very self-help, and also they can be, for everybody, not just those who are fit. And they can be found in the book called Health in Your Hands, Your Plan for Natural Scoliosis Prevention and Treatment. And the author of that book is Dr. Kevin Lau, who is our guest in the living room today. And he's a chiropractor as well as a nutritionist practicing at Orchard Clinic. And well, you can find out more from these websites. In fact, we have 2 websites that you can find out from.
And the website addresses are, take this down, get pen and paper ready, www.scoliosis.com.sg, spelled SCOLIOSIS.com.sg. Another website to visit that's by the Orchard Clinic would be www.spinal.com.sg.
Yeah, that's right. And we've been chatting this past hour and a half with Dr. Kevin Lau, who's been shedding some light for us on this whole non-surgical treatment of scoliosis. Thank you so much, Dr. Lau, for coming in and sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.